Hi, I'm Mark Toole with 8020service.com. Today's customer service video question of the day comes from Quora, and the question is, how does a company exceed customer service expectations? I was going to say there's a few answers here, but there really aren't. There's someone with a lot of clip art, and then there's a couple of spam answers. Surprise, surprise, a customer service question. Somebody answered and said, the way to exceed customer service expectations is to get AI chatbots. And by the way, I work for an AI chatbot company. Wow, clever. Not what we're talking about here. Not a good answer. I'm not trying to pick on anyone's answer. I mean, anyone personally, but when an answer's wrong, I am going to have to correct the record on this. And forcing people to chat with a computer software is never going to exceed customer service expectations unless you follow the tricks that most conventional businesses seem to follow. How do they exceed customer service expectations? Well, really there's two types of customer service expectations. There's the expectations that the customers may have, what they expect from the business, how they expect to be treated, what kind of customer service they expect to receive. And then there's internal customer service expectations, things like what the boss or the department guy or the team of nerds that nitpicks over word choice or whatever thinks to be the customer service expectation. They'll pick things and they'll put them in there because they're easy to measure, but really the way that they exceed customer service expectations in both these cases, and this isn't the only way to do it, this is the way that most conventional businesses do it. This is not what I'm recommending. This is what I'm, in fact, not recommending. Most conventional businesses exceed customer service expectations by lowering those expectations. What do I mean? I mean, well, listen, this guy's talking about AI chatbots in here. What is that really? It's an advanced version of an NPC. A human NPC, like I've talked about many times, is the person, whether it's a call center, whether it's a chat, whether it's an email, that has a procedures manual over here. If customer asks about this, do this. If customer asks about this, do this. And then a list of scripts over here. So customer asks about refund policy, read refund policy script. It simplifies things. It makes it easy for the team of nerds to grade the customer service agents and say, he followed the procedures correctly, he read the scripts correctly, so he provided good customer service. But did he? No. He mindlessly read a useless script. He didn't do anything, really. He's not allowed to think. He's just there following the instructions of the company. People who think this is a good idea are all about this AI chatbot stuff. Oh, we'll just have an AI chatbot read the scripts instead of a guy. That'll be so much better. Maybe it will be slightly more accurate at reading the scripts if it understands what the people are talking about. That's really the issue with those, is that they don't know what people are talking about, and they're probably not very accurate right now. But it's not actually better customer service, better customer experience at all. Why? Well, the answer is obvious. The customer service is only going to be as good as the script. It's only going to be as good as the procedure that someone writes for it. And it's never going to be a human being talking to another human being and saying, hey, I've got this problem. And the human being says, yeah, okay, I see what's going on there. I fixed that. Try it again. Good. You're all set. Instead, it's, thank you for calling company's name. I will be happy to help you with customer's problem today. Mr. Customer's last name, may I verify the things on your account? And if you can get an AI software to do that, fine, but it's still bad. It's still not a good experience. So, yes. But, of course, if the company is measuring its own customer service expectations in the way that many of them do, does agent follow directions, is script read correctly, etc., etc., it doesn't matter if it's bad customer service in reality. It doesn't matter if the customer doesn't like it. Yeah, they'll probably send the customer a survey, and then he'll say he doesn't like it, and then they'll get confused and say, we're hitting all our expectations, why don't the customers like this? They must all just be jerks. But they only exceed customer service expectations internally by lowering those expectations to basic following of instructions, rather than looking at the merit of those instructions, where they came from, what the person actually did, whether the person actually helped, whether the person actually cares or not. Those things are hard to measure, so they're not measured. They measure something easier and simpler and something that they can exceed much more easily. Now, what about customer expectations? That's not going to be as easy to simply lower the expectations and then say everything's good, is it? Well, My argument is that yes, it is going to be just as easy, and they've done, whether it was intentional or not, I'm not claiming this was a vast conspiracy or any such thing, but they've done a wonderful job of lowering the expectations that customers, you and I, anybody out there, have for a business. If you buy something from a company, a product, a service, whatever, and you run into a problem with it, and if you're like me, you're going to do some research, you're going to try to find anything you can to fix that problem yourself, to solve that problem yourself, anything to avoid having to talk to customer service. Why? Lowered expectations. You expect that interaction with customer service to be terrible and unpleasant and time-consuming and petty and irritating and just not a fun thing to do. It's going to eat into your day. You're going to get very little results from it. A thing's going to beep in your ear, and something's going to make you press 47 for English, and then it'll say it doesn't understand, and then the NPC will go off on some ridiculous tangent that its programming sent it down, and eventually maybe the thing will get done. Now, I'm not saying these businesses all started providing bad customer service to train customers to expect bad customer service. It sort of happened naturally as a result of what they've done on their side, lowering their own standards, lowering their own expectations. This lowered the quality of customer service, and it happened so broadly, so across the board in so many companies that customers have come to expect that. They don't expect good customer service. If they get it, they might be happy about it, but they might be surprised by it, but they're expecting a miserable ordeal. They're expecting a painful, unpleasant, miserable, boring, did I say miserable, experience with this thing, and generally they're not disappointed. Then if they're expecting the worst, how do you exceed expectations? Just be slightly less bad than the worst. Have the thing beep in their ear slightly less loudly. Have the NPC make up half of his lines on his own so it sounds like he's talking to a real person. They can very easily meet or exceed expectations when the expectation is to talk to an idiot who doesn't know what he's doing and can't help you, and you end up getting frustrated and yelling at him, and then he gets his boss, and his boss finally fixes it because he's allowed to think. Maybe. If that's what you're expecting, it's very easy to exceed those expectations. So that's how most conventional companies exceed customer service expectations. They set the expectations so low internally, customers come to expect a low level, low standard, low quality customer service. And then if you want to exceed that, it's very, very easy to do, even while still doing a terrible job and providing very bad customer service and doing a lot of things wrong. Now, that's what the conventional businesses are doing. That's what a lot of the other advice that people are going to give to answers on questions like this come from. When I see an answer with 400 pieces of clip art of little stick figures and ties going, "Yay, we got good customer service," I skip right over that answer. I can't imagine anything valuable coming from that sort of answer other than like hire more people to monitor the performance. No, that's not what we're talking about here. But how do you actually exceed customer service expectations? Get rid of the expectations of what I mean is disregard the standard conventional expectations. The expectations that everything needs to be scripted, that customer service agents won't do their job unless they're constantly monitored and harassed. The expectation that customers are stupid and are going to call and ask about dumb, pointless questions over and over again, and that customer service is going to be a busy, tedious, mind-numbing, repetitive task for someone who couldn't get a better job in the company. Get rid of those expectations entirely. Get rid of the expectation, in fact, that customers are going to have to contact customer service about problems. Why should they have to contact customer service about problems? Why should they be having the problems at all? These are the kind of questions that when you start asking, you start seeing that there's a very different way to do things, a much better way, and what I think is going to be the way of the future. Really, it's the way of the present if you're not an idiot. It's the way of the past going back to the beginning of commerce if you're not an idiot. But unfortunately, in the current business environment, a lot of customer service has been idioticized, and therefore, if that's a word, it's not. But therefore, bad service, bad experience all around is the standard, is the expectation. And yes, you can slightly exceed that just by being slightly less bad at following the conventional playbook or whatever, not following it anyhow. But really, That's not very interesting to me. That's not what I recommend. That's not what I help businesses with. I talk about this new approach. The approach of fixing problems before they happen, anticipating, preventing, making sure most customers never have to contact customer service, and if they do, making that contact as what's the word I'm looking for? Making that contact as I was going to say pleasant, but it's still not going to be pleasant because they still had a problem they needed fixed. Making it less unpleasant, making it as quick and painless and frictionless as possible to get their question or their problem or their issue resolved. That's my answer to that. That's what I help businesses with. That's what I talk about in these videos. That's what I write about here on Quora if you're watching there. Also on my website, 80/20 Service, if you're watching on YouTube, because I am posting these videos on YouTube now as well, for those of you watching on Quora. I'm not going to go into that whole thing here. This video is getting long, and I'll wrap it up. But that's my answer here. Most companies exceed customer service expectations by relying on those expectations being very, 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 very low. Intelligent companies forget all about those expectations, create their own expectations, and do things differently, more intelligently, and at a much higher level. So that's all for today. If you like this video, hit upvote, hit thumbs up, hit like, subscribe, follow. I do one of these videos every weekday on a customer service topic. Like I said, I'm posting them now on Quora and also on YouTube. So if you're on Quora and you have a question for me, ask me on Quora. I may answer it in a future video. And if you're watching on YouTube, just leave it in the comments. I may still answer that in a future video as well. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up here, and I will be back tomorrow with another video.